Every Sunday, millions of Americans head to their local Chick-fil-A for a quick bite to eat. But did you know that this iconic restaurant is actually closed on, well, Sunday? It's true. And this unique business decision is just one example of how the company's founder, Truett Cathy, built an empire by thinking differently. So here's the story of how Truett Cathy started Chick-fil-A. Our story begins in 1921 in the small town of Eatonton, Georgia. That's where Truett Cathy was born, the youngest of 5 children. Growing up, he didn't have much money, but he did have a strong work ethic and a whole lot of entrepreneurial spirit. At age 13, he started his first business, a paper route. And by age 17, he was delivering 60 newspapers every morning before school. After graduating high school, he went to work for his father, who owned a small grocery store. And although the pay was low, Truett knew that working in the store would give him valuable experience in the food industry, experience that would help him one day open his own restaurant. But first, he had a little detour. In 1941, Truett enlisted in the U.S. Army and served as a military policeman during World War II. After the war ended, he returned home and married his high school sweetheart, Helen. Then, in 1946, he opened a small diner in Atlanta called the Dwarf Grill. The name came from the fact that Truett was just 5 feet, 2 inches tall. The restaurant was a success, and by 1951, he was able to buy out his partner and take full control of the business. But all the while, he already had his eyes on a new opportunity. You see, during the 1950s, fast food was booming with chains like McDonald's and Burger King leading the charge. But there was one thing that Truett noticed was missing. Most chains offered burgers, fries, and milkshakes, but no one was focusing on chicken. In 1961, he started experimenting in his kitchen at home, trying to perfect a quick and easy chicken dish that could be made in large quantities. His breakthrough came when he decided to try pressure frying chicken breasts, which were easier to prepare than traditional fried chicken, and they tasted better than any other chicken sandwich he'd tried. He called his creation the Chick-fil-A sandwich, and it consisted of a boneless breast of chicken that was marinated overnight in a blend of 11 herbs and spices. Then pressure-fried, lightly breaded, served on a buttered bun with a pickle. After perfecting his recipe, Truett knew that he wanted to open a restaurant dedicated to the Chick-fil-A sandwich, and only the Chick-fil-A sandwich. But he wasn't interested in competing with existing burger chains, so instead, he decided to go all in on chicken. Of course, this meant that he'd have to completely revamp the Dwarf Grill, which wasn't an easy decision. On one hand, the restaurant was successful and well-known in the community. On the other hand, Truett knew that if he didn't take a risk and pursue his new idea, he'd likely regret it. Ultimately, he decided to follow his heart, and in 1967, he closed the Dwarf Grill and opened the first official Chick-fil-A in Atlanta's Greenbrier Mall. From the very beginning, Chick-fil-A was different. Instead of beef or pork, Truett centered the menu around his signature Chick-fil-A sandwich. And although customers had never seen a chicken sandwich on the menu of a fast food restaurant before, they were intrigued enough to give it a try, and they loved it. In fact, the entire menu was designed around this same philosophy. Waffle fries instead of regular fries, chicken nuggets instead of hamburgers, and sweet tea instead of soda. In addition to offering a unique menu, Truett also emphasized quality and service above all else. He hired employees who were friendly and genuinely enjoyed working at Chick-fil-A, and he trained them to treat each customer like family. This approach paid off. Within a few years, Chick-fil-A had become so popular in Atlanta that Truett decided to start franchising. But before he could start handing out franchises left and right, he had to come up with a way to keep the quality of the restaurants consistent. So he created a list of guidelines that franchisees had to follow, including a strict set of rules about how the food should be prepared, and a requirement that all stores be closed on Sundays to allow employees to rest and recharge. Of course, this wasn't very appealing to potential franchisees. Many other chains were open 7 days a week, and they had no problem hiring people who wanted to work on Sundays. But Truett was willing to hold out until he found the right franchisee, someone who shared his values and commitment to quality. Slowly but surely, Chick-fil-A began to grow. By the late 1970s, there were 50 restaurants open across the Southeast. Throughout the company's history, Chick-fil-A has stayed true to its founder's vision, serving up delicious chicken sandwiches and waffle fries while creating a positive experience for both customers and employees alike. Thanks for watching.